So we're recording?
Yes, we are recording. This is our
And
practice
my
session.
great-grandchildren can see this.
Yeah, right now.
It's like the year 2080.
Yes.
No, 2150.
Well, so we think, but like there's so much digital stuff out there, I actually take great comfort in feeling like it's completely anonymous.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay. So it's safe to like make a pornographic video. You don't have to worry about that, like getting out there.
I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't?
No, because I would be uncomfortable with that.
You could make some money off of it.
Do I want that money?
I don't know what you want. You tell me what you want. What you want is up to you, right?
I think I don't want a pornographic video out there.
I mean, I'm a therapist, so I mean, I'm not supposed to impose my ideas.
Yeah, that was sort of a bad idea, anyways.
It wasn't my idea. I just thought about like the possibilities.
Okay, we should have something to talk about.
Yeah.
What should we talk about?
We can talk about that fantastic movie I watched last night.
Yes, let's talk about Love Actually. Was it your first time watching Love Actually?
Second.
Okay.
It's
so
good.
What was its impression upon you?
Well, I'm impressed that they're able to tackle a subject like love creatively, since that's the most boring thing usually to make a movie about.
See, this is where we disagree. I think that's the most fascinating thing to make a movie about.
But it's been done so many times. I just
yeah.
think that
I mean, all stories are being recycled.
It's easy to do it poorly, and it wasn't. It was done in an original way, which I thought was very nice. I was pleasantly surprised.
Well, I saw it many years ago, and I was expecting to enjoy it. So
you like the lobsters.
I liked the
Christmas
lobsters.
You enjoyed
Christmas
that.
Lobsters. I did. I would enjoy eating them more, but I would also watch them.
You would eat the nativity Christmas lobsters.
Yeah.
You think that's
especially if they were like brined in garlic butter.
Okay,
yes.
I can see that.
Yes,
I can see that. I like lobster too. I had some once when I was on the East Coast. Back when I was like
Maine lobster,
100 pounds heavier.
It's delicious.
And they basically boil them in vats of butter.
I
Alive.
gained about 20 pounds when I moved to England and started eating a lot of clotted cream. That was delicious.
Clotted cream is good.
Scones and clotted cream. Scones, jam.
It's good.
And they had like these biscuits with chocolate.
Definitely. Yeah, it's really delicious.
So good. So we've already devolved into talking about food.
I mean, I could gain 20 pounds in like 5 minutes. I could just eat your Christmas tree.
That wouldn't taste very good. It's kind of dry and crunchy.
But there's chocolate things on it.
No.
It has chocolate on it.
No chocolate.
No, I can see chocolate.
There's no chocolate.
There's chocolate on your Christmas tree.
There's chocolate on your Christmas tree.
There's chocolate on your
Christmas tree has not been drenched in chocolate. You're hallucinating right now.
I'm not hallucinating.
Would you like some chocolate? I could give you some chocolate.
I can't stand chocolate.
You don't like chocolate?
I don't like chocolate.
Who doesn't like chocolate?
You know, it's
I just
funny.
whistled a little bit when I said that because I was so shocked.
You must have a speech impediment. Do you have a speech impediment?
I don't think so.
There's a diagnosis for that. It's called speech impediment.
The diagnosis for speech impediment is speech impediment. Surely they could come up with a more complex term than that.
I don't like oysters or jacuzzis either. Did you know that?
No, that is new information. Yeah. I like both.
I don't like jacuzzis.
Oysters and hot tubs.
Can't stand jacuzzis. It's
like What's the difference between a jacuzzi and a hot tub?
The difference is that if you live in Marin, you have a jacuzzi. And if you live in San Francisco, you have a hot tub.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because Marinites don't. They all have jacuzzis. Every house in Marin has a jacuzzi.
But like, what is a jacuzzi versus a hot tub? Does a jacuzzi have like bubbles and a hot tub doesn't?
It depends on who's in it. Like if you throw your cat in it, it's suddenly it's a swimming pool.
Right? Or it's like a vat of cat soup.
Yeah, that too.
You're boiling your cat.
You're not boiling your cat. You're just bathing it. You're showering your cat. Do you ever
dunking your cat?
Do you shower your cat?
I don't have a cat.
Why not? You seem like someone who would have a cat. You should have cats.
Cat would be very happy in here. Raccoons
who cares about I don't care about a cat's feelings. You should have a cat.
Well, why don't we care about the cat's feelings?
Because cats are not important.
Why are cats important?
Because they're selfish and introverted, ridiculous creatures.
Are dogs important?
Yes, dogs are important.
Why are dogs important?
Because dogs are loving.
Cats can be loving in their way.
They pretend to be loving, but they don't actually love anybody.
Cats are great because, like dogs, they can sit on you and sort of just make you feel better by their very presence. Unless you have a really cranky cat who refuses to cuddle, then I agree. That cat isn't worth much.
Well, you could always put a Valium in its food and then it would cuddle.
That's a good idea, actually. I'm all for drugging cats to make them love me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with that.
Mm-hmm. Is that how you make the men in your life love you?
With Valiant?
Yeah, that's an excellent question for this video. How do we make the people in our lives that we want to love us love us?
You can't make anyone love you.
You can't. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? You cannot make anyone love you.
You can love yourself.
You can love yourself. Let's
You can love
discuss
yourself.
that.
Okay, let's discuss that.
Let's discuss that.
Our warm up of chocolate trees.
Or
and
how we attract people to us.
Warm cats. How we attract people to us. Well, I mean, I think you have to start with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you have control over is yourself. And so if you spend time learning to love yourself, which, God, I hate that phrase. People used to throw that at me all the time when I was really depressed. And I was like, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. But unfortunately, it's also somewhat true.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe different language is helpful because love yourself is a little fruity.
Let's think of some new language, because I think love yourself is also fruity and ridiculous and preposterous. And every time I hear that, I cringe and I throw up a little bit. Yeah. Like I can feel it coming up. Just the
bile rising.
Many things are rising. Things that just, like my whole system is about to just sort of come out.
That would be bad.
Yeah, it would be bad.
You would just be turned inside out and people would run from you screaming. Okay, so what's different?
Especially after eating lobster.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Regurgitated buttery lobster?
Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
It really does. It really does. So, what is some better language than love yourself? Because I can't stand that term.
This is sort of the problem with talking about these things, because the language isn't very helpful in a lot of ways, because like what pops to mind when I think about loving yourself, it's like about recognizing your intrinsic worth. And even that feels a little not false. I feel like the language has been co-opted by a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, and it's sort of spread it too thin, if that makes sense.
I like we say about value. I feel like people that are comfortable in their skin, they value themselves. They don't feel uncomfortable anywhere they go. They're fine because they're relaxed. They're okay. And I think that inherently people are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And they look for someone who's more comfortable. Here's the thing. So did I tell you about this? If you put two people in a room, I didn't think this idea up. Somebody smarter than me with fewer degrees, actually, which is credit to their character.
Yes. Well, I feel like that's often the way.
Yes, it is the way. And he's 93 years old, so he knows. This is like the grand wizard of therapy.
I like wizards.
Yeah, we like wizards. So he said that if you put two people in a room, the one with the more organized or healed personality automatically begins to heal the other one.
Yes.
It's if you want to get, I know people love to talk about quantum physics, which I think was stupid. People really get into like, well, I've got.
Did you hear that, folks? Quantum physics, stupid.
No, but it's the way people talk about it. Like, oh, I'm going to talk about quantum physics now, therefore my argument, my statement has some validity. It's because it's scientism. It's preposterous, but. Still, the whole atom thing, when the one atom goes over the other atom, and you've got two atoms or two molecules, and the electrons, and they boom, 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 and that whole thing. It's not has nothing really actually inherently to do with what I'm saying, but it kind of illustrates the idea that if you put two people in a room, the one who's sort of more complete will attract the incompleteness of the other one, and the other person will try to balance their personality based on the power will come from the person who's more together, essentially.
Okay, so what value does that have in terms of helping someone discover their own worth, or?
Well, I guess I'm talking. I'm starting with a baseline of like if somebody is comfortable in their skin and values themselves,
I see what you're
they
saying.
will attract all kinds of people, and they will just get to pick, and you will naturally pick the people who do not drive you crazy, right? And as a therapist, people come to me and they pay me because they're feeling crazy, and that's awesome, and I honor that. But anyway, so like I don't like when you go to the grocery store and there's some checker in line who is just talking to everybody, every customer, because they're sucking their energy out of them, because they probably don't like where they are. It's probably not the greatest job in the world, right? and the person is sort of captive, like and everyone's talking, and they're slowing everything down, and I want to murder everybody in the line because the checker is sucking the life and the hours out of
Well,
them.
energetic vampires, they're a thing.
Sure.
Like there are people who just drain.
But what I'm saying is that energetic vampirism is something that occurs naturally between two people if one person is more together than the other, right? So it happens even unconsciously. People won't know it's even occurring, right? So that's the place to start. Like that's the good spot. Now the question is, how do we get to being the more integrated, comfortable human who gets to pick and choose who we would keep or not, right?
Well, I think the beauty of that is that there are a zillion different places to start because different things work for a zillion.
Big number.
There are a lot of zeros in that number, so you have a lot of options.
Zillion. Like there's trillion, and then there's zillion, which is even larger because it has a Z instead of a T in the front.
Math.
It's not math.
It's numbers. Not math. Numbers are math.
It's Amber's imagination, which is vast. It's about a zillion big.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many different places to start. Like I feel like people can find the place that works for them. And for some people, it is therapy. For some people, it's getting out and running 15 miles on a Saturday morning. For some people, it's learning how to cook well for themselves. I feel like the place to start is in the thing that brings you joy in this moment, not because you think you need to be better at it or because you think it will make you money or make you more awesome. I think there's value in finding sort of a pure joy in something. You know, even if it's just, honestly, even if it's like watching your favorite show on Netflix and just being like, fuck all y'all, I am going to watch some TV and I'm going to enjoy it.
I agree, and I want to add a point. We had this one fellow, Tom. I'm just going to hold it up, Tom.
I don't think it's not going to show. See?
Can you see that?
Well, he can, but you
it's
have to read it
look, it's backwards. That's kind of neat, Tom.
That's
what do you think?
That happens.
It's backwards.
But
I'll read it. No,
okay.
wait. I'll read
He's
it backwards. I can't read it backwards.
No, you can't read it
How
backwards.
do I build self-confidence? So the thing is that learning to value yourself and all this shit that she's saying, which is mostly correct, is about as you become more comfortable and integrated and you value yourself, self-confidence is a residue of that. And the thing is that everyone's trying to move towards a basic state of integration and wholeness, and all the good stuff, the confidence, the am I sexy, learning about your future. I know you have a point.
I'm just saying.
Is a byproduct of just basically this mysterious, unknowable thing that is what we're talking about that no one can really define. So one of the mistakes of modern psychology. And really life is that we're trying to parse, like we have all these words that we're sort of shooting for, and how do I get people have PowerPoints, and it's preposterous because it's all symptomatic of a higher, better, deeper thing.
He's very cranky, by the way.
I'm not
a lot
cranky.
Of things are preposterous.
I'm not cranky. I liked my new word. I learned a new word. I knew this word, but I really learned to use it better. Frenetic. It's a really good word.
It's fun to say. It's fun to spell.
And I learned it because I was watching this. I was listening to the NPR and they were talking about this video by Sia. It's kind of an obnoxious song. It's the Chandelier.
The Chandelier one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really obnoxious song, but the video is kind of extraordinary. And he described the girl in the video as dancing around frenetically. And so now when I think of a 12-year-old girl dancing around in a leotard, I think frenetic.
Sure.
Right?
Great.
Frenetic.
Perfect. That works.
It's a good
very
word.
Good definition
it's a
of
good
the word.
What point were you going to make?
So my point was going to be that you mentioned that everybody's sort of searching for this worth. And I think that's 100% accurate. But I think the thing that it helps to realize is that we are all born with that worth. Like you don't look at a baby in its little basket or drawer or I don't know, wherever you put babies, and think that baby is not whole or perfect because it hasn't been promoted in a year, or it doesn't make a certain amount of money, or it doesn't have as much hair as the baby 2 bassinets over. You just look at that baby and you think this is a miracle of life. And so as we get older, we go farther and farther away from that because society and our friends and like even the most well-meaning people in our lives will sort of pile stuff on top of us. We'll pile stuff on top of us. And so I think we start to lose sight of our own very intrinsic worth, to use that somewhat terrible phrase.
It's a good phrase. No, you can say
it is a good
worth.
phrase.
I like
it's better than loving yourself, I suppose.
Even
though loving yourself is still very valid. We just need a new phrase for it. But I think that it's less about finding, well, I guess it is about finding worth, but it's more about uncovering the worth and like lifting up all the layers that life has like piled up on top of you. And I think it's also about sort of learning to either redirect or simply ignore the little voices in your head that are telling you that you're not worth something.
Okay, so I agree. And here's how I became more confident than I am now. That doesn't mean I'm the most confident person. I used to be 100 pounds heavier. I was a big fat slob, and I felt like victimized and depressed, and it was not good.
And big fat slob, by the way, those little voices.
Sure. No, I was a big fat slob. Like it was real. Like it was a real event.
That was a legitimate thing.
It was.
Wasn't like
not being
a brain hamster sitting on your shoulder.
There's no irony. I mean,
okay.
I was large and sloppy.
Okay.
And big.
Mm-hmm.
And it works.
But I'm sure that telling yourself that didn't help you overcome that. Or maybe it did.
No, it did. It did. No, it did.
Okay.
I mean, you look in the mirror enough times and say you're a big fucking fat slob. You need to get your ass together, and sometimes it works. It depends on how you frame it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's just my personality. That's just I benefit from it. Anyway, I went to this thing. I went to started taking martial arts. I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You can see how fucked up my ears are from it. And they're like little meat cards.
Yeah. Because he gets kicked in the head a lot.
No, I don't get kicked. I get ground. Anyway, so I went there and I got into 4 or 5 nights a week getting beat up. For some reason, really brought my person together. It was almost like when I was doing jiu-jitsu, everyone's bad side, like all their neurotic tendencies came out on the mat as they wrestled and as they interacted. And if you didn't adjust, you'd either get hurt or you would leave the school. Yeah. Or you would change your personality. If you didn't change your personality, you get injured or something would happen. So it's sort of like I felt like I was being tempered. Like, you know how you temper steel? Like bam, 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 and you fold it.
Just bang it in the fire.
And I felt like I was being forged. So one of the ways to build self-confidence is to find ways to forge yourself. That doesn't have to be something extroverted like a martial art. It can be reading, it can be meditation. But it's what can you do to sort of take I'm not being very clear. I feel like
you're being clear.
Because what does it mean to like sometimes standing up for a cause, for instance. I remember just getting angry about some other situation, wishing I could fix it made me feel like, wow, I have an opinion about something and I'm going to go deal with it. Asking like 15 women out on a date and getting rejected each time it's like you're getting hammered because it's so difficult, it's so hot that it's like you kind of get really angry and depressed and you kind of melt together, but at least you're actually out there doing something. So I guess I encourage people, one of the ways to do it is sort of a trial by fire thing. I guess maybe this is it.
I call it throwing spaghetti against the wall. You just start throwing things and see what sticks.
Yeah, well, and it's sort of like putting yourself through some pain, I guess, and seeing what you can take and like really, really testing yourself.
I think for me, it was about releasing the pain. Because when I needed a lot of self-confidence, it was because those voices in my head, I call them like the brain hamsters or the little devils, or like I like to anthropomorphize them.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I
use that on my next client.
Please do. So I had to release some of that pressure because I was basically destroying myself from the inside out because I was being so mean to myself in a lot of ways, and that can like really take your soul and just like crunch it, and you need to sort of release that pressure. And so for me, it was about finding the balance between being gentle with myself and also getting out and doing things, like getting out and exercising. I think exercising it's not because I don't like exercising because it will make you smaller. I like exercising because it will make you bigger. Because if you...
It made me smaller.
Well, no, but you know, it made you smaller physically, but bigger emotionally.
I used to have like 20 chins.
But also I think that's not always a good motivator for people. For some people, that's a great motivator. But for other people, like, if I'm going to try to exercise to lose 5 or 10 pounds, I just won't do it. Mm-hmm. It just, that isn't a good enough motivator for me. But if I go out and run because every day that I run is a better day for me, just because I've gotten out and done the thing that I told myself I was going to do. I'm working toward a goal, which is often a race of some sort. And it just throws a lot of endorphins into my system that really just makes everything feel better.
Good. I want to add one point.
Okay.
Back to my previous point about like testing yourself, I want to make that clear and like really, really solid. One way to build self-confidence is to go out, practice talking to people. Just being around people, practicing fucking up, being okay with fucking up, and doing it again, and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating, and noticing that you're okay, that you fucked up and you're still alive, and you'll go through cycles. I mean, it's sort of like getting rejected too much is like letting a toxin build up in your system. You do need a break after a while. But I encourage you to go out and practice living a little bit beyond your comfort zone. They say your growing edge. I hate that term, but your growing edge, like wherever you're kind of growing, and you kind of go a little bit beyond it, and you kind of stay in that sort of uncomfortable zone, and then pull back a little bit and do it again, because you don't want to. They say stretch but don't break. A therapist I couldn't stand used to say that a lot. It's like the only thing I got from her was that she was actually a moron, but she had this one, like, that was her whole philosophy, was based on stretch but don't break. So she had like this one good idea, and the rest of it were bad. The rest of them were bad. So I'm going to steal that. But this question is unending. Do you want to move to another question?
Well, I think we probably want to do one question at a time, because if we try to do like a 40-minute video, nobody's going to watch it. But if we do like, okay, this is
we can splice. We can splice.
No.
We can't? Because I really like this question.
Well, why don't we start the thing over again so we can, like, I don't know how to splice.
Next time on Amber and Benjamin, how to make friends in your 30s. This is awesome. No, let's do this. How to make friends in your 30s. I mean, I'm 40. I didn't make any friends in my 30s.
I'm pretty sure
I don't know if I can be helpful. I make friends in your 30s.
We can be helpful. I have some ideas. But we're going to do that next time, which is going to be in like 30 seconds for us.
Amazing.
Whenever you
have ideas.
But yeah, shut up.